Hi, this time we're going to talk about transformations. So we're basically going to transpose or transform these formulas just like we would with normal algebra, but you can see there's basically no letters in it. Sometimes there's number. Sometimes there's one number in it, but a lot of the times there's none at all. So we can still use the same idea for moving equations around and just rearranging them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange all these formulas to make the letter that's in the bracket the subject. So in this case, I'm going to make W the subject. And when I say subject, I just mean the thing that's by itself. So I want to get W by itself. Now, it does not matter whether it's on the left or the right side of the equal sign. It makes no difference. So if I don't have to move the letter in question, I won't. So in this case, I don't need to move W, so I'm going to leave it where it is. What I'm going to do is move things away from it. So this needs to go away from it. So at the moment, these two things are adding. So whenever I move things, I'm doing the opposite of what they're currently doing. So that means I'm just subtracting. So m minus 3x equals W. And I'm done. I only had one step for that because W is already by itself. And I'm going to sneeze. Oh dear. Now it looks like I have corona. That's not great. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do is the same thing, but this time there's going to be more steps because I'm trying to get Z by itself, and Z, you can see, is also attached to a number. So I'm going to start the same way I did before. I'm going to start by moving this and by doing the opposite. So I'm going to subtract it. So y minus p equals 4z. And then I have to separate the 4 and the z. Now just remember that no sign always equals times. So the opposite of times is divide. So y minus p divide by 4 equals z. And I'm done. Now you can't simplify this, so just leave it like that. And I always want fractional answers if you have to do it this way. Never try and transform anything into decimals. Yeah, don't do that. Just leave them all as fractions. That goes for everything. And I did notice that some people in some of the other work we were doing were simplifying fractions to the point where they got it so low that they ended up with decimals in their fractions. We never want that. Decimals and fractions don't belong together. All right, same thing here. I'm going to get y by itself, so I'm going to leave it on this side, and I'm going to move the q. So no sign means multiplication, so I'm going to do the opposite. So mx divided by y, divided by q, I want to keep y where it is, equals y. So that one only had one step as well. Now this one's a little bit trickier. So this is where you need to use the knowledge that you have from your ratio and proportion topic that you did. So we're going to cross multiply. So remember when we have things like this, we're able to cross multiply them. So that means A multiplies to D and C multiplies to B. So then I end up with something that looks more like the previous question. So now I know what to do. I want to get D by itself. So I need to move the A, and obviously these things are multiplying. So I'm just going to do a division and end up with D by itself. So don't forget that fractions like this can be cross multiplied. All right, let's look up here. So this time we've got a couple of numbers involved. So I can't do any simplification here, and I don't want to. Well, actually, I might change the numbers so that I can. Why not? I'm going to make this, an 8. There we go. That's easy. All right, so what I'm going to do is get x by itself. So the first thing I'm going to move is the y. So if it's subtracting, I'm adding it. So 2m plus y equals 8x. Oh, actually, I can't simplify it because I've done something stupid. Doesn't matter. Let's just leave it like it is. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get the x by itself. So I'm going to move the 8 and I'm going to divide. So 2m plus y over 8 equals x. Now, I can't simplify. I know that some people attempted to simplify this fraction. This is 1 and 4, but you're not allowed to do that because of this y. If this y could also be divided by 2, then you can halve everything. But because you can only halve these things and not that, you're not allowed to do it at all. So don't fall into that trap. You won't need to do that today for the exercise anyway. Okay, so this one here, I'm going to get m by itself. So this one definitely has more steps. I've put more things in this one. So always leave your fraction to last. If you've got a fraction and another term, just leave this alone. Don't try and do anything yet. We're going to move this part first. So think of this as a single unit. Don't pull it apart until you have to. So mc over p equals s minus k. Now I can start doing things with this. So the first thing I'm going to do, always move the bottom of your fraction first. So if this is dividing, I'm going to multiply. Now I have to multiply this whole thing by p, not just the start. I can't write this. That would be incorrect. What I have to do is put brackets around this because p is multiplying all of this, all right? Then I'm going to get m by itself, so the c is the next thing I'm going to move. And again, these things are multiplying, so I'm going to divide. So I've got p, s minus k, all divided by c. So that one had a number of steps in it. This is definitely more complicated than the other ones, but most of the questions today only have 1 or 2 steps, and we'll get into some more complex stuff later. All right, so hopefully that's just a bit of a revision of linear algebra and you're just applying it to more letters than usual. But it should be the same as all the other linear algebra stuff you've done. You're just moving letters around instead of ending up with a numerical answer at the end. All right, please get in touch if you're still confused. Good luck.